Good morning. My name is Lisa Brody, and I am the Assistant Deputy Director for Bay Area Legal Services and the team leader for Pinellas County. I would like to thank you for joining us this morning for this Facebook Live session on evictions and Pinellas County rental assistance. At Bay Area, we realize how important housing stability and housing preservation is, not only for our client community, but for our community as a whole. We have partnered with Pinellas County legal service organizations, nonprofit organizations, community partners, and our local governments to ensure that Pinellas County residents have the assistance that they need to preserve their housing as a result of the impact of the pandemic. Today, our St. Petersburg office attorney, Tiffany Coleman, will share with you information regarding the eviction process and how you can access legal assistance and the available rental assistance that's been made available through Pinellas County. At this time, I would like to introduce to you Attorney Tiffany Coleman for today's brief presentation.
Good morning, everyone. I will be discussing the facing eviction crisis in Pinellas County and going over the rental assistance available in Pinellas County. At first, I'm going to describe the eviction process and go through that process with you guys so that you understand the proper way of a landlord to evict you. Next slide. The eviction process, the proper way. In order for eviction to be valid, a landlord must follow these following steps in order to have a lawful eviction. One, the landlord must give you a written notice of the lease termination, asking you to move out at a certain date or pay rent. And that notice has to have your name on it, the date that it was sent to you, the date that you need to vacate, and the amount of money needed in order for you to stay or pay or vacate. And number two, if you don't pay the money or vacate the property, they can file an eviction case on you in the court if you don't move out or pay. And number three, they have to win in the eviction case and get the eviction order from the judge. After they win the eviction case and get the order from the judge, a writ of possession is produced, and then it is posted on your door from the sheriff, and then you have 24 hours to vacate the property. And that's the proper steps that the landlord has to go through in order to lawfully evict you. Next slide. And these are some things that your landlord cannot do. He cannot enter your home frequently at odd hours or without notice. So I put in this little meme that says, yeah, if you could stop what you're doing so I can show the condo to potential buyers a few times a week, that would be great. That's just, over exaggeration of, what your landlord cannot do, like come into your home frequently and try to show your property without even giving you 24 hours notice or any notice in that sense. The landlord cannot increase your rent or decrease services to you in a discriminatory manner. The landlord cannot threaten to bring an action or other civil action, primarily in retaliation against you. And the landlord cannot lock you out, intercept or shut off utilities, such as water or electric services, or remove doors, appliances, or your property from your home. These are things that the landlord cannot do. The landlord has to go through the proper steps, the proper eviction process in order to get you from the property. Next slide. Okay, with non-payment of rent evictions, time is of the essence. So these are the things that you will receive and the things that will happen. You will receive a 3-day notice, or sometimes it's a 30-day notice to either vacate or pay rent. And if you do not vacate or pay the rent, the landlord may file eviction. Some landlords lately have been working with tenants, but more than likely a landlord may file an eviction if you do not pay or vacate the property. When the eviction is filed, a summons and a complaint will be served to you, and you will have 5 days to respond to avoid the default judgment. So these 5 days are crucial, so time is of the essence to even, submit an answer or response or even contact Bay Area Legal Services to help you file a response to the summons that you have been served. Next slide. Okay. Pinellas County has emergency rental assistance portal. The Pinellas County and the city of St. Pete received federal funding to implement an emergency rental assistance program to support renters with unpaid rent and utilities. And we're going to go over the portal as of now. Next slide. To qualify for the Pinellas County rental assistance, you have to have experienced reduced income or increased costs during the COVID-19 pandemic. You must be behind on your rent or at risk of being behind at your rent payments. And your household income has to be at or below 80% of the area median income. And that chart is it's in the portal when you do apply for the assistance to see if you are eligible for the assistance. But apply even if you think that you are going to be behind on your rent. It's so crucial to avoid any type of filings of evictions. Next slide. And this is how you apply for the Pinellas County rental assistance. You contact your landlord and your property management and let them know that you are seeking assistance, because they will have to provide an application into the system in order for them to receive the funds. And then step 2 is you check if your household is eligible for the assistance. And step 3, you gather all the documents for the application. And then step 4, you create an account with the Neighborly software. All those steps are very crucial. Even letting your landlord know that you're applying for assistance, because a lot of times tenants do not let their landlord know that they're applying for assistance, which can harm them because the landlord may think that you're not doing anything and file the eviction anyways. So it's very important to, keep that open communication with the landlord that you are trying to find any assistance, available to you. And this is the look at what the portal looks like. Once you try to sign up for the portal, this is what it looks like. You just click register, you include your email address and your password, and then it will go through like a list of prompts that you need to include your name. You got to upload your IDs, your rental ledger, your income information to make sure that you are eligible. And your landlord can register too. And if your landlord does register, they can request for the tenants that live in their properties, so that you would get an email to sign in to create an account yourself, but the landlord can request for you to create an account. Sometimes that works out better. That way you're automatically linked to your landlord in the portal instead of waiting those weeks to be linked to a landlord. So that's just the process of getting in and then applying and registering yourself and making sure that you create one account that they can look at and not duplicate accounts. So, writing down which email address that you do use and what password that you do use, so that you're not creating different passwords and emails address and creating different types of profiles that will, keep you stuck, because they have to go through each profile to even link you to your landlord. Here are some frequently asked questions about the Pinellas County Rental Assistance Program. One question is, how much rental assistance can I receive? Will it cover missed payments? The program funds can now provide up to 18 months of financial support covering missed rent and utility payments, as well as future costs. Rent payments are made directly to applicants' landlords, and utility payments are paid directly to the utility providers. You can request up to 3 months of future rent, which I always highly suggest if you know that you aren't going to be able to find any type of job within that time. It just gives you some support during that time period, because we never know what could happen later on in the future. Next question is, can I qualify if I have a verbal or informal lease? In the absence of a signed rental agreement, evidence of the amount of rental payment may include bank statements, check stubs, or other documentation that reasonably establishes a pattern of paying rent. A written attestation by a landlord who can be verified as a legitimate owner or management agent of the unit, or other reasonable documentation as defined by Pinellas County. For this one, I've seen some tenants with informal leases or month-to-month leases or verbal leases. Usually I'll just have the landlord write like one pager saying that they are, even adding documentation that they do own the property, but that they are the landlord and this is what they've been paying for month to month. Sometimes a lot of tenants do not have a formal lease with the landlord. So just having the landlord write out something that says that there is some type of payment pattern. The third frequently asked question is a landlord obligated to accept rental assistance funds? This is the one we always get. Landlords are obligated to accept rental assistance funds. However, they are encouraged to accept it because they get a lump sum of payment for past due and future rent. However, a landlord does not have to do that. He does not have to go through the process and wait for the money and accept it. However, we do encourage landlords to go through the process and accept the rent because they are getting a lump sum, and it's better than filing and paying for an attorney and filing an eviction. And here are some important tips. As soon as you get a 3-day notice or you're behind on your rent or any of that sort, you can reach out to Bay Area Legal Services as soon as possible. And we have our helpline, and our helpline number is 1-800-625-2257, 1-800-625-2257. And you can contact the St. Petersburg office at 727-490-4040, 727-490-4040. And then it would come specifically to me, and I'll be able to do an intake and look into what kind of services that you do need for your housing. And another tip is continue to make small payments towards your rent and documenting each contribution, because even if an eviction is filed and a landlord is still accepting payments, that can, dismiss that action in the sense that they're accepting rental contributions while the eviction is being filed. And another important tip is to apply for rental assistance before you're late on a payment, and communicate with the landlord about the application for rental assistance. And when we can help, if you're late on rent before an eviction is filed, you can contact us. If you've received a 3-day notice, you can contact us. And if an eviction has been filed, you can contact us. You can use either number that the helpline or our direct St. Pete office number, which is listed on the screen right now, but I'll repeat it. For the helpline, it's 1-800-625-2257, 1-800-625-2257. And for our specific St. Pete office, it's 727-490-4040, 727-490-4040. Do we have any questions?
Thank you, Tiffany, for that very informative presentation. There are no questions at this time. So again, Tiffany, I would like to thank you for making that presentation. And I would just like to invite all of you to share this information with your family, your friends, your neighbors, your church members, or anyone that you know that might be facing eviction or even at a risk of an eviction. This information will also be available for further use on our Bay Area Legal Services Facebook page. So I hope that you all have a wonderful day. Thank you.